Hello everyone, Ismail is here. Today we're going to start a new lesson, simplifying expressions with rational exponent and radicals. Okay, so this lesson is continue from the 3.1. Now we are going to take more variables, numbers, and you can find all my lessons, okay, on my website here. Okay, now let's start with the first one. Okay, so first let's recall the what we learned in the 3.1 about the radical. So when we have rational, okay, we can convert it to the radical. Okay, or if we have, let's say, a radical, we can convert it to rational. Depend on the questions. And as you can see, whichever is easier to you. Okay, now we will talk about this one later. So don't bother yourself for this. Okay, now let's start with some let's say, important rules. Okay, so as you can see here, we have the multiplication rule. So when we have two base with the same, two base are same and different power, we just add the power. So let's say example for x to the power of 5, x to the power of 3, we can do that x to the power of 5 plus 3, which is equal x to the power of 8. Okay, then we have power to the power. So as you can see here, when we have a base to the power, so and we have a bracket to another power, so we multiply both these two powers together. So let's say example, we have to the power of 5 and here to the power of a 3. So what we can say? So we can say that 5 times 3 multiplied with a 3. So let me put multiply, which is equal 50. Okay, another one here, power of a product. Power of a product, as you can see, when we have two variables, or a variables and a number, or a number and a variables, and they have sharing same power, so we distribute the power for each of them, like this one here. So let's say we have an example, 3 to the x, so all of that to the power of 5. So what's happened now? We take number 5, we distribute it to the power of the x and power for 3, so it will be 3 to the power of 5 and x to the power of 5. Okay, you can simplify 3 to the power of 5, okay, by multiplying 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 5 times, okay, all of that to the power of 5, you get that. Okay, now let's go to the zero exponent. Zero exponent, I told you, any number, any variables to the power of 0, it's always equal 1. Like x to the power of 0 is equal 1, y to the power of 0 equal 1. Okay, 6 to the power of 0 is equal 1. 100 or 1009 to the power of 0 is equal 1. So all the types of to the power of 0 is equal 1, always. Okay, then the division. Division, it's like of sorry, opposite of the multiplication one here. Okay, so here we added the power, here we will minus the power. So let's say we have example x to the power of 6 over x to the power of 2. So we do that x minus 6 minus 2, we minus the power, so x is equal x to the power of 4. Okay, last one, we have a power of quotient. Power of quotient, it's very, very big, similar to the power of to the power. Why? Because power to the power, the sorry, not the power to the power, sorry. Power of the quotient, it's same the product, power of the product. Why? Because power of product, we have two numbers or one variable, one number. We distribute the power. Here, both of them are divided, so we distribute the power for each of them. Okay, but here in the products, or let's say power, sorry, in the products, they are multiplied. Here they are divided, so we divide, so we share the power for both of them. So as you can see here, 5 to the power of, let's say 5 to the power of 5 x over y, example, to the power of 5. So it will become x to the power of 5, y to the power of 5, which is we distributed the power for the x and for the y. So this is the rule. You have to memorize these rules because they are very important and we're going to use them. Also, don't forget this rule. Okay? Don't forget this rule. Okay? So we're going to use them. Okay. Now, I wrote to you the rules here beside because we are going to use these rules in these questions. Okay, now let's start with this. Okay, now simplifying expression, girls. or boys, first thing you need to understand and put in your mind, there is no special way to solve or to simplify the expression. Okay? There is no special way, but I can give you a hint. Okay, we have, if I not always, if the questions ask you, giving you the question in radical, so that's mean when you need to simplify, you need to convert it to the rational. Okay, so like example, m over n a to the power. So to simplify a radical, you need to convert it to rational. Okay, as this one here, this one is radical, you need to convert it to rational. Okay, same thing here is a radical, you need to convert it to rational. So always when the question give you in a way, so you have to convert it to another way, so you will be able to solve it. After you simplify, at the last step, you put it back as the radical. You will see, understand now. And if you have a question with a rational, okay, if your question, let's say, start with a rational 5 to the power of 2, so now the question starts with rational, so now you have to convert it to radical. So always when the question give you a radical, so for sure you have to convert it to the radical at some point, okay? Or if the question give you in the rational, you have to convert it to radical, okay? So always put in your mind to do this stuff. Okay, now this is just a small hint to help you how to simplify the questions. Let's start with the first one here. Okay, number one. So it's saying here a root of degree 3xy to the power of 9. So how we can convert this one to radical? Okay, so we will follow this rule here. So as you can see, so let's convert it to the rational. So now it will be x, okay, and y, okay, to the power of what? Tell me, to the power of 9 over 3, right? 9 over 3. So now look now to the power 9 over 3. Can we simplify 9 over 3? Yes, we can simplify 9 over 3. 9 over 3, it's mean divide by 3, which is x and y. Let me put the bracket here so not make a mistake. Okay, so 9 over 3 is equal what? It's equal to 3, right? Because if we divide this one by 3, divide this one by 3, okay, we will get 3 over 1, which is equal to 3. So x, so now we use the power of quotient, okay, or product power. So what's happened here with the 3, we distribute to the y, we distribute to the x. So now x to the power of 3, y to the power of 3. Okay, now that's how we can simplify this question. Now, let's go to the second one here. So as you can see here, this one, the question is a radical. So let's convert it to rational. So to convert this one to rational, it will be written as x, okay, to the power 1 over 5. So this is the first one. Then we have x to the power. Always I told you, when we have a square root, or if we don't write the number, always we consider as 2. So when we have a square root of 6, what is the index for this? So it's 2. What's the index of, let's say, 6x here? So it's 2. Always, when we don't write 2, always it's equal 2. So now this one, it's to the power 1. Sorry, 1 to the power of 2. Now, look to this one. They have same base, different power, to similar to this root here. So what's happened with the power? Okay, we add them together. Okay, so now if you need to add them together, x to the power 1 over 5 plus 1 over 2. Okay, so as you can see, half plus this one, you will get, I think, 7 over 10. So 7 over 10. Now, as you can see here, because it's x to the power 7 over 10, okay, because this one is a fraction, okay, because the power here is a fraction, it's not like this one. This is a number, just one number, which is easy to understand. But when we have a fraction, always convert the fraction to a radical. So let's go put it back in the radical. So to write this one as a radical, so it will be 7, sorry, not 7. Okay, so it will be here, it will be 10 and x to the power of 7. Okay, so this is how we can simplify this. Okay, question number 3. Okay, if you look now to the question number 3, I told you if we have a radical question, we convert it to the rational. But here I have radical and also I have a rational. So what I have to do, teacher, tell me what I should to do. Okay. So now you have two ways. Rather than you converting this one to the radical, or you convert this one to rational and see which one it's easier to you, okay, to simplify and start simplifying it. Okay, now let's start. So I will choose to convert this one to the rational, okay? Because sometimes the rush I have all the rule here in the rational. So let me convert this one to the rational and check if I can see if I have a rational or no. Okay. Okay, now let's start. So first one is x to the power of 2, y to the power of 2, okay? And to convert this one is multiplied, so it will be y 4 over 4. Now look to the question. So as you can see, 4 to the power of 4 is equal what? 1. So that's mean this y, it's equal 1, okay? Y to the power of 1. So any number to the power of 1, we don't write 1, which is y, okay? Now, x to the power of 2, y to the power of 2. So if you look here to this equation, this 2, it's like this equation here. When we have a power to the power, so what's happened? We multiply both of them. So 2 will distribute to the y, and it will distribute it to the x. But x, there is a 2 here. So 2 times 2 is equal x to the power of 4. And 2 will go to the y. So it will be multiplied with y to the power of 2. Okay? Now look to the question. We still can simplify because we have same base. So the base y here, where y is here. So we have y here and we have two y's here. Okay, because of the power. So now I can add these two because this one is one, right? Okay, therefore don't forget. Now let me write this one x to the power of 4. Okay, y2, okay, can be written as y2 plus what? 2 plus 1. Okay, because of this rule here. Okay, so now the question will be x to the power of 4, y to the power of 3. Clear? Easy. Okay, let's go with this equation here. So as you can see here, we have two radicals, okay, and we need to convert them to the rational. So now let's start with the numerator. Let's convert the numerator to rational. So it will be written as x to the power 8 over 4. And here it will be x to the power of 6 over 4. Now simplify the power. So as you can see here, 8 over 4, it can written as if we divide this one, if we divide this one by 4, we divide this one by 4, so it will be 2 over 1, which is equal to. Here, 6 divided by 4, okay, let's divide by 2, okay, divide by 2, divide by 2, so 6 divided by 2 is equal 3, so let me write x, 3 over 4 divided 2 equal 2. Now look to the power here, so we can use what? What rule? We can use this rule here, okay, so we can use this rule here, which is equal, okay, x 2 minus 3 over 2. So now 2 minus 3 over 2, you can use a calculator or you can use the butterfly one, which is 2 over 1 minus 3 over 2. So use the cross multiply like this, or and this one here. So so first of all, 3 times 1 is equal to 3. Okay, minus. Then 2 times 2 is equal what? 4 over. Then 1 times 2 is equal 2. So 3 minus 4, which is equal negative 1 over 2, which is negative half. So now my power is equal negative half. Okay, so now do you remember I told you if we have a power of the fraction, okay, if we have a power of fraction, we can convert it to the radical. So now let's convert this one to the radical. So to convert this one to radical, we can write it as, because this one is negative, right? Don't forget, when we have a power of negative, don't forget this rule, okay? When we have a negative number, so we can write as 1 over x to the power of n. Okay, this is the rule. Don't forget this rule. Okay, so now let me write this one. So it will be 1 over x to the power 1 over 2. Okay, we can also convert this one to radical. So it will be 1 over square root of x. So this one is my answer. So as you can see, this is my answer for this and for this and for this one here. Okay, I hope this one is clear. Now let's go next. Okay, sorry, I made a small mistake before I go. Before I go, I made a small mistake here. When I minus both of them, let me do this one again, so you can't make my mistake. Okay, let me go back here, go back here. Okay, so go back here to this one. Okay, let's stop here. Okay, now I told you, okay, when we minus the power, it should be 2 over 1 minus 3 over 2. So use now butterfly. So butterfly here, which is this one here. So 4, start with the from left to right. So 2 times 2 equal 4 minus 3 times 1 is what? 3 over 1 times 2 is equal 2. So now 4 minus 3 is equal 1 over 2. So now the answer is half, not negative half. So now x to the power of half. Now let me write this one as, if you see the rules here, okay? So now let me write it as radical because I told you when we have a fraction in the power, we convert it to radical, so it will be square root of x. Okay, sorry, it's my mistake, but we are human, we all made a mistake. Okay, now I need all of you to start do all of these 4 questions. After you finish them, tell me what. If you need questions or help, you can contact me on my website. Okay.